Like, I was like, what kind of a flex is it for you to show the world that you clearly are watching this whole thing frame by frame, but just being like, I hope you all realize that Glenn was on the floor licking up someone else's mucus, blah, 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 and there was like stiletto boots and blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, this is so gross. You could attack this guy for so many things, but the fact that, yes, it is now against his will illegally been, exposed to the world that he is a homosexual who does homosexual sex with other men, suddenly it's just like, oh my god, well, we got him. All right, I guess the first big story of Pride is going to be Glenn Greenwald realizing that there are a lot of leopards in the right. For obvious reasons, I will not be speaking in detail about what the leaked video of Glenn Greenwald contains. I'm sure if you have any interest or curiosity of your own time, you can go look that up on the internet. If you didn't know it last week, I started noticing all of these really big right-wing, super conspiracy brain channels and accounts and social media, everyone from Candace Owens to Ian Carroll, you name it, making all these massive solidarity posts about Glenn Greenwald. And I was like, what is making all these people say that they need to stand up for Glenn Greenwald? That's really weird. Candace Owens says, I said this on my last show, ahead of maternity leave, but I would like to reiterate it here. Glenn Greenwald is one of the most important and honest voices of our time. Everyone should follow and support his journalism. You can subscribe to his channel here. I mean, rare for me to see a Candace Owens post and think, wow, this is odd. I mean, this is the kind of endorsement that would make me rethink my entire life. Not my career, my life. But apparently Candace Owens, profound anti-LGBTQ plus bigot, is also saying that Glenn Greenwald is awesome and you should support him. I was curious where that was coming from. Ian Carroll, someone who is extremely anti-vax to the point where he doesn't even believe in taking the measles vaccine. The Glenn Greenwald scandal just proves the point. Israel's modern image is built on blackmail. Glenn Greenwald, you just keep being one of the best journalists of our time and you're all good. Sorry that you're going through this. The scandal reflects far worse on Zionists than you. And I was like, okay, what is this all about?
One of the set of files we released described the intelligence relationship that we have with Israel, that the NSA has with Israel. Israel is the #1 recipient of NSA technology and NSA intelligence. We share more with Israel, even more than we do with the Five Eyes partners who develop this technology. We give more to Israel, more intelligence, raw intelligence about Americans as well, and more intelligence know-how. But at the same time, the documents that describe who are our greatest intelligence threats, who are our greatest intelligence adversaries, who spies on us the most, who is capable of spying out the most, #1 on the list is Israel as well. Obviously, the Israelis use, the most dangerous spying programs like Pegasus and others come from Israel, are developed by Israel, are controlled by the Israelis, by which I simply mean to say that Israel uses every weapon at its disposal, including gathering incriminating information about its enemies.
So that was on the newest episode of the Tucker Carlson Show. Because of this, it has been, I guess, assumed by a lot of people on the right that Glenn Greenwald had a secret tape leak of him involving Glenn Greenwald having sexual intercourse and engaging in kink acts with a male prostitute. That video got leaked, apparently, and has been doing the rounds, and that has made a conspiracy come about that this was apparently the works of Israel because of a strong stance against what the Israel government is doing, or his reporting on it, or his reporting on spyware and spy software that is being used, that they in turn took, I guess, offense when I wanted to attack Glenn Greenwald, and they successfully hacked and leaked a video of him having sex with a male prostitute. I don't know if any of that is true. That is 100% pure speculation. What I can tell you is that you don't need to have statements like this or what Candace Owens said if you haven't been cultivating an audience of people who hate gay people. Because when I heard the scandal had come out, the first thing I thought was, sorry, what? What's the scandal? Like, okay, fair enough. If someone is leaking a sex tape of you, that's scandalous. If someone has hacked you to leak that sex tape, that's also scandalous. But how does the sex tape damage you if it's, again, you having consensual sex, right? Like, Glenn Greenwald has never lied about the fact that he is a homosexual. He was in a homosexual relationship prior to the passing of his ex-husband. I don't know if a lot of the right didn't know that, if that was a surprise to them, if they had kind of just forgotten about it, or maybe something to that effect. It went as far as Glenn having to make a statement. Last night, videos were released online depicting behavior in my private life. Some were distorted and others were not. They were published without my knowledge or consent, and its publication was therefore criminal. Though we do not know yet who is responsible, we are close to knowing, and the motive was a maliciously political one. As for the content of the videos, I have no embarrassment or regret about them. The video depicts consenting adults engaged in intimate actions in their private lives. They all display fully consensual behavior, harming nobody. Obviously, it can be uncomfortable and unpleasant when your private behavior is made public against your will. That's why the behavior is private in the first place. But the only wrongdoing here is a criminal and malicious publication of the videos in an attempt to malign perceived political enemies and advance a political agenda. Others are, of course, free to form their own judgments, as some are prone to do about others' private lives. It won't change my work. I will continue all the many prongs of my journalism and continue the causes most important to me, exactly as before. So, I it's one of those things where I have to talk about because of how prominent Glenn Greenwald is. But, make no mistake, Glenn Greenwald has been aligning himself with the far right for a long time now, between doing, PR for Alex Jones, consistently doing whatever he can to appear on Fox News back when Tucker was a host, until Tucker kind of severed his connection there, so that one wasn't great. All the way to consistently throwing LGBTQ plus people under the bus, specifically trans people consistently, if that's the way that the right wing has suddenly pivoted on these so-called culture wars. They call them culture wars, but again, one person's culture war is another person's human rights or civil rights. So Glenn Greenwald is a monster, and it's a monster who has embedded himself deeply within a very conservative and very far-right agenda of people who hate gay people. Glenn's had to battle with Matt Walsh a number of times. He's publicly stated, I can't believe the things that Matt Walsh is saying right now, stating that two grown men who are adults and love their kids aren't allowed to adopt or shouldn't be allowed to adopt. That is nonsense. Look at the stats. There's absolutely no data to demonstrate that two daddies is any better or any worse than two parents who are both, mother and father. What's wrong with you? And it's like, that's who these people are, though. They're Nazis. Nazis hate gay people. They are fine tolerating certain tokenized gays to a point, right? That's the lane that Dave Rubin has crafted for himself. He has to remind everyone every single time he appears on like one of those shows. By the way, as a gay conservative, I know that I'm better than the other ones. And you're like, okay, that works up to a point. It works up to the point that Dave Rubin wanted to adopt kids, and he got a surrogate mother, and because he had surrogacy, they despised that. They said it was an abomination and a sin and an affront to God, and he had to go back on Glenn Beck's program and apologize for the whole thing. Oh yeah, tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm a demon. How did I offend the Lord our God? I need to know so I can make penance. Help me. And it's like, it's all so pathetically sad because, the lessons of history will show that there is no moment in which once fascism completely rents up, they're still tolerant of a certain percentage of the gays, or they're still tolerant of a certain percentage of people who are considered to be, subhuman by their own classification. Eventually they come for everybody. And yeah, what a surprise that there's a lot of right-wingers now who are like, oh shit, I was fine listening to that Glenn Greenwald guy. I didn't know. I had no idea he was gay. Oh my. Also, weird-ass liberal accounts seem to be the ones that are going as extreme homophobic as you could imagine. That Liam Neeson, very pro-Democrats, pro-Ukraine style account, but not really pro-Palestine or pro-civil rights liberation, just pro-Democrats account. He was posting all the details of the videos in description. I was like, what kind of a flex is it for you to show the world that you clearly are watching this whole thing frame by frame, but just being like, I hope you all realize that Glenn was on the floor licking up someone else's mucus, blah, 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 and there was stiletto boots and blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, this is so fucking gross. You could attack this guy for so many things, but the fact that, yes, it is now against his will illegally been, exposed to the world that he is a homosexual who does homosexual sex with other men, suddenly it's just like, oh my God, well, we got him. Yeah, here you go. Here's the pro-Assadist, pro-Putin asshole Glenn Greenwald. All of you should see what he was really like. Look at how... Oh, by the way, I'm definitely... I'm not anti-gay. I'm not anti-kink. I'm just saying what he's doing disgusts me and is gross and gives me the ick. And all of you should know that, and I want you all now to know how much ick I have. So I'm going to post it. I'm going to post a whole bunch of videos and pictures and show you all. Look how disgusting this man is. Again, it's one of those, the scandal does nothing for the left. The left are like honestly, if he wasn't an absolute fucking, you know, far right reactionary associate collaborator, I would be one of the first people sounding the alarm, being like, look at all these fucking weirdos who spend all day saying, oh, I'm an ally. Oh yes, I care deeply about LGBTQ plus people. And then as soon as they have to actually see any of it, they're like, disgusting, gross. Yeah, this guy is a deplorable fucking demonic figure, and he's clearly engaged in Satanism and blah, 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 all that kind of shit. It's like, y'all are all the same. You're just finding different vectors to flex your hatred from. So the conspiracy theory on the right is that this was done by Mossad, that he was hacked, maybe by an Israeli official who then leaked it, and it's backfiring. Again, there's absolutely no evidence to that at this point, but I mean, attack Glenn Greenwald for a million things. This ain't it, is like all I can say. Is he married? No, he used to be married. His husband passed away. I mean, Glenn Greenwald is a public figure that, like, I thought the right knew about. Like, I thought they knew that he initially had moved to Brazil, that he was actually operating a sex tourism website for American tourists to come to Brazil in order to be able to, you know, have sex with young twinks and all that kind of shit. He was like, had a website for that kind of stuff. And it's one of those situations where Glenn has safely maneuvered himself into a position where he makes it very difficult for people who are either LGBTQ plus or LGBTQ plus positive to criticize, because everything that is often weaponized against people like Glenn Greenwald is weaponized entirely out of bigotry and hatred for homosexuality. That doesn't mean that you should support the idea of running a sex tourism website. Like, if that is actually true, not just, you know, an alleged series of Wayback Machine screenshots of the old Glenn Greenwald websites, they were in fact accurate, 100% confirmed, that's wrong. It doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, whatever. You shouldn't be running sex tourism websites, again, for really gross people who are going to take advantage of economically disadvantaged people in other countries. Like, what the fuck? But so many people will go at Glenn simply because of the fact that he's gay, and the fact that he you know, had a gay husband and had traveled from the US to Brazil to marry him and all this kind of stuff like that. It's one of the things that they will go after before anything else, and then weaponize that in the same way the right wing does. So it gives you, if you're someone trying to really, you know, critically attack the things that Glenn Greenwald and the damage that he does, you know, it makes it really tricky, because you're sitting there. It's like the same thing with the purposeful conflation of everything that Israel does with all Jewish people, because Christian Zionists have been so effective at doing that. Anytime anyone criticizes Israel, immediately they're like, well, are you criticizing all Jewish people? And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm distinctly separating the two. In fact, I think it's anti-Semitic to associate the horrifying things Israel is doing right now with Jewish people. But now you put me in a position where there's all these horrifying anti-Semites who are screaming, you know, the Jackson Hinkles, the Nick Fuentes, all these people who are actually anti-Semitic, who are also saying free Palestine, or, you know, they're saying we should condemn Israel. Well, there's a reason why I condemn those people as well, because they are not doing it because they are for liberation. They're not doing it because they are for equality. They're doing it because they're anti-Semitic bigots, and that's all there is to them. Oh yeah, shout out to Sesame Street, by the way, keeping it real. Sesame Street posted, on our street, everyone is welcome. Together, let's build a world where every person and family feels loved and respected for who they are. Happy Pride Month. Horrible. Great job. Good job, Sesame Street.
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This video wouldn't be at all possible without the financial support of all the people whose names you see on screen right now. And if you want to unlock secret bonus episodes, content that we can't post anywhere else, or get the videos early before anyone else gets to see them, please go on to patreon.com/theserfs. For as little as $1, you can help support this channel and help make more videos like this possible. Our executive producers are Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Garrett Sandoval, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Boehm, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Tigwick, Trav, and Words Greenwood. And also, it wouldn't be possible without all the names you see on the screen right now. Again, if you want to help produce this content, it's only made possible through the funding of our patrons. Head on down to patreon.com/theserfs. That's patreon.com/theserfs.